Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the Blizzard Forecast, the top draw version of it. And in case you haven't noticed, things are a little odd here. See, what we've done, as you know, is that we do time travel, which is how I'm able to get Dr. Marsh from a completely different future in order to get together with me, in order for us to do something on a pre-recorded level that we can then bring to you the next day, in which case we are able to then reveal to you science and math. We have also reached into pockets and dimensions and found somebody and yanked them to our time-space continuum. And if the world implodes, it's not my fault.
Blame Mizpah.
Blame Mizpah. There you go. And with that, I want to say hello. It is Pseudo. It is the TCG Hearthstone Blizzard Forecast special. Jazz hands. I am joined by Dr. Marshmallows, as always. We have summoned you with your minion killing.
Yes, many chewers were sacrificed to bring me here today.
Such an IP jump is all I'm going to say there. And then, obviously, as you can tell, we have a new face, and that face is over there. Leave me alone.
Hey there.
It's Beth. But we have Trollden joining us.
Nice to see you.
You say that now, but we've only just begun.
He's gonna leave with a tear on his cheek and horror in his eyes.
What you guys don't know, we've spent like the past hour trying to prepare to get this part done. Anyway, welcome. Good. Hey, it was fun. We've learned, we've danced, we've made cupcakes. It was a true bonding experience. We'll have to do each other's nails someday.
They were delicious.
The nails?
Yes.
Right. No. Moving quickly forward, we're going to be reviewing card that was released. Again, as we've said to you people before, you awesome people, because of the time space, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff that kind of goes on with this show, we are looking at last week's card, but that's okay because it gives us time to look at ways to implement it, ways to bring you another side of it. And it's not like we're rushing because Curse of Naxxramas is not here tomorrow, sadly.
That's going to suck the day that we send out the record and Naxxramas actually releases the day after.
It's Blizzard. It's not going to happen soon.
Not gonna.
Hey, we don't know. I mean, I know somebody who was talking about a patch coming out for WoW, and they went, I'm not certain when the patch is coming out. Oh, the patch is out today. That was their exact statement to me in Skype. It was that kind of crazy. So you never know. But yes, so let us dive in.
So, Marsh, what's the news today?
Right. So there's a couple of community tournaments that have gone on again this week, just like a couple of weeks ago. But this week we've also got the inclusion of Deck Wars. There's been a little bit of drama behind it. We're not going to go into the drama too in depth this week, but if you want to have a look, Hearthstone was a bit ablaze for the last 24 hours or so about it. So as of recording, of course. So you can probably go find some stuff on that. And also the big news is DreamHack is going to be holding a $25,000 tournament, which is $10K for first place, and then I don't really care about the other positions. But yeah, that's a lot of money for Hearthstone. So it's...
We're splitting that money, right?
Yeah, no, we'll totally split that money. Children can have like $500 just for being here. But no, the big deal really is that it's another sort of high-profile Hearthstone tournament coming into play. So it's more esporty stuff popping up, which is really good for the community and for the game. And other than that, it's our new card, and that's about it. Not much has happened, I'm afraid.
Yes, not much has happened at all in the Hearthstone realm this week. You do realize
nothing that we're allowed to talk about.
No, it's more or less we don't have time to delve into it, more so than anything else. Don't worry, it's not like I'm trying to censor Marsh. You can't.
No, you really can't.
You really can't censor Marsh. Yes, okay. Well, Trollden, what is our card this week? What has been released to
Um,
us, I should say, last week?
so the last week was released a new rogue card called Anub'ar Ambusher. It has a death rattle, which returns a friendly minion to your hand, and it's a 4 mana card with the stats 5/5, so it's a really strong card. You can say it's a Chillwind Yeti with one more damage, so it's probably gonna be really good because it kills Chillwind Yeti, and it's gonna be a really great choice for rogues in arena because Chillwind Yeti is considered to be one of the best cards there. And what do you think about the card, Marsh?
Ooh, I get to go next. Excellent. Um, there's no big surprise that there's a death rattle on this one, really. If we go back to what I was saying before, I'm still disappointed that it's not death rattle combo, which is what I really wanted to see on the rogue card. But you never know. There's another like 10 cards or something for the rogue that we're not seeing, so we might get lucky. Look, I agree that it's going to be good in arena. Look, it feels a great spot. There's not actually too much beside neutral cards for arena rogues in that mana spot, and just the fact that it's a 5/5 itself is fine. Like, and not only that, the death rattle, it can be completely inconsequential. It can be amazing for the rogue, and it could be a bit bad for the rogue. But you have to think of the situations that you play it in. Like, you're not going to play this card if you have like a 7 mana war golem or something on the field as well, because it's just going to come straight back to your hand, and you go, oh, that makes me sad.
Yes.
What about you, Pseudo?
For me, the thing is, when any card or when any time I look at the cards that are coming out, I run several things through my head. One, I look at what makes that particular hero so special, because if they're not catering to what makes the hero special, I start questioning, well, are you just creating a card to create a card? We've talked about in a previous version of the Blizzard Forecast top draw the appearance that they seem to be trying to follow a theme, and they seem to be trying to almost fill holes that are noticeable. For example, giving board clears to druids and things like that. When it comes to this card just kind of makes me go, if you're a rogue, why isn't it in your deck regardless of what type of deck you're playing? Because Chillwind Yeti is a powerful card in Constructed as well as Arena. Not everybody has the ability to go into those ranks above 20 when it comes to the laddering system. Not everybody is as skilled as you two are. That's all I'm going to say. But this particular card offers a lot of opportunities. Even if you can't use a death rattle, you have a very cost-efficient card. You have a 5/5 for 4.
The reason it's cost efficient, I feel, is because that death rattle can be a really big drawback. So you can't put something that's so cost efficient in without something that can be a drawback. Like, don't get me wrong, it'd be good, but it has to have. That's why you see warlocks taking damage and stuff are really efficient cards. Otherwise, you're just going to break the meta. It's just everyone's going to play it regardless of what rogue deck they have. But I think you touched on a really good point. Is I feel as though the card doesn't thematically fit within Rogue very well. But what do you think, Tron? Do you think it's a little bit too overpowered for its cost? Does it fit with Rogue?
I think it's underpowered actually because Death Rattle is too big of a drawback. For example, if you play this card on an empty board and it gets removed with a spell, for example, and it's gonna be the same thing as a Chillwind Yeti. If you play this card on a board where you already have a friendly minion, and it's gonna die, this is the same thing as putting a card into your hand back, as sapping it. So the
I thought
sap
that was
costs
Vanish.
no, sap. Sap puts one card into your hand. So sap costs 2 mana, and this card costs 4 mana. So if you have something on the field, the drawback is actually 2 mana. So it's really bad because it's you can consider this as using a sap and one of your minions on random minion, and if you play it on an empty board, it's gonna be great because you can be dominant. But actually, if you're gonna end up trading with this card and it's gonna put one of your cards back into your hand, and it will be really bad. Even if it's seven eye edge, and it's 3 mana card with a combo. You usually play it with, for example, the Shadow Step, so it costs 1 mana, and you can do the Battle Cry again.
Hmm.
It's not gonna work with this card because the cost isn't reduced, and it's gonna be like playing the same card, and you're losing tempo. This is why I think it's gonna be really bad and constructed.
Hmm.
You cannot build a deck around one card, unless it's a Miracle Rogue, something like that, or where you just build your deck around Leroy and gadgets on auction. You're not gonna build your deck around the card that you are gonna purposely put cards like Leroy or Seven Eye Agent in your hand. It's not gonna happen. So I don't think there's gonna be a decent spot for this card in constructed. This is my
See,
opinion.
this is the thing that's starting to frustrate me with at least some of the things that are being released. You know, we do have a whole bunch of different class cards and just neutral cards in general that we don't know about yet. I mean, we're only being teased. But, you know, it does seem almost as if this card itself, to me, like I said, as a casual player, I am not someone who you are probably ever going to see in the top 10. Although at some point in time, Marsh and I will attempt it. It'll be rather interesting to see if we can even get me to that point and level. Now that I've got Hearth Trollton on my team, how can I lose? But yes, you know, this card, it seems a good cost. I mean, it's 4 mana. You have a 5/5 creature on the board. If you are able to pull something like this out early game, yes, it does give you board presence. It gives you a dominant, you know, stance in the actual game. That doesn't make it a bad card. But the rogue itself, all of the different types of rogues, the focus is on what makes that rogue special. Combos. I really, really, really feel as if Blizzard has let down the rogue with this. Because Marsh said last week, bring a death rattle combo. Just bring it.
And how is it gonna work? You mean if you combo, the death rattle's gonna work, so the card gets a death rattle, or how do you see that?
My idea was like you play a card with death rattle combo, and the fact is for it needs to be something like incredibly overpowered. Well, not incredibly overpowered, but really high on the power scale because you need to protect it to get it into your own turn so that then you can combo it. Does that make sense?
I don't think Blizzard would make this because it's a pretty complex mechanic. It's not something a new player would understand. Because
Well,
how's it gonna
that's
work? Combo is something when you play from your hand, right? If it's gonna be
yeah.
there on the board and you have to combo it again, then you're gonna have to make a new mechanic. The only thing that might have worked is that if you combo, the death rattle appears on the card, which
Yeah, that's another way to do it.
which is another way to do it, but I don't think it's needed that much, and the card fits the rogue theme because it returns card into your hand, and I think rogues are one of the classes which have the shenanigans with the vanish and sap and shadow step and all that stuff, and this is why I think this card really fits well into rogue theme.
Well, see, that's the thing. You say that it fits well into the whole theming for it, but there's more to rogues than just that. This seems almost like what we were talking about with some of the other cards that we've seen. For example, the mini whirlwind that you find in Deathbite. You know, it's like we already have these mechanics in place. We're just basically going to put them into something else so that maybe you'll free it up from your constructed decks, and that'll give you room to add something else. But it doesn't seem to me that they're actually going to be offering anything that, at least with this, like you said, that will fully change the meta.
But I
Or
think
challenge the meta even, really.
they don't have to make it so that every card changes the meta. There should be decent cards. There should be some decent cards. There should be some mediocre cards. There should be some cards that are going to be good in arena but bad in constructed. There should be some cards that are going to be good in constructed but bad in arena. Otherwise, the game's gonna feel wrong. So this is why not every card in the game is gonna be really great. Like the Dancing Swords, it feels like a decent card, but the drawback is really big.
Mm-hmm.
So you might end up using it in arena, for example, but we don't know yet if it's gonna be worth building a deck around it and construct it. I don't think so, but it might be a great card in a Paladin Rush deck, for example.
Well,
After Death Rattle effect, the guy gets a card, and you can use a Divine Favor to draw as many cards as the opponent has, which gives you an advantage too. So this isn't something we can this isn't something we can guarantee right now because the player is gonna break the card somehow, and
Oh, they always
like
do.
the
yeah.
Leroy or something like that. But we might want to see it in the actual game, and with the cards. For example, the Nerobian doesn't work with the legendary they've showed, the Baron Rivendare, which makes Death Rattle work twice. This means the Ambusher's effect gonna work twice, and it's gonna put two cards back into your hand, which means it won't have synergy with the Baron Rivendare. And so we'll have to see what they can offer us. The other legendaries, the effects are gonna influence the game.
Mm.
I don't think they should make every card uh, be incredibly OP or be really influential on the current metagame because
No, well,
there should
that's
be some variety for the people to create new decks. And if the card isn't good now, it might be in the next patch, it might be in the next expansion, and this is what they're trying to hit, I think.
yeah. Well, it's if you take it back just a little bit, it's as you were saying, you can't have cards that are always OP and always not so OP and all that sort of stuff. Like as you said, you need good cards, mediocre cards, bad cards. That's fine. That's something we accept. What I'm saying is, what we've said before is these are teaser cards. They're supposed to sort of pique our interests a little about what's coming up, what's happening, what's going on, and we're saying that thematically it doesn't really fill that purpose either. And if I just want to step back one step more as well, where you said you don't see it being played too much outside of arena. I disagree somewhat, just simply because I feel it would fit in a sort of a resurgence of the mid-game rogue deck. Something, of course, it's been a little bit kicked in the shins a little with some nerfs, but it's about thinking about potential as well. We can never sort of understand where a card's going to fit, playable or unplayable, until people actually go out and experiment with it. But our job here is more to speculate. We need to proffer ideas to our audience, as opposed to just going no. We want to see it. We want to see it played by every player. We want to see every player go, oh, this is amazing. Look, I can kill a Yeti, have it die, bounce back a ringleader to my hand, then I can play the ringleader. Oh my god, head explosion. But at the end of the day, we can't just say, oh, it needs to be more OP, or it's always OP. Every card is OP. But we also can't go, well, it just sucks either. I think this card is going to find a place, especially because it's common as well, just like the Yeti is. I think it's going to find a place in a lot of decks that are either pauper decks or I feel as though it's definitely going to get played in constructed. Maybe not at the absolute high-end tier of constructed.
Correct.
But I think it's definitely going to find a place in those decks that like to run, all those weapons and the Yetis and the Assassinates and control that mid game so that your opponent can't get to the end game.
By the way, I wanted to say that the card is common, which makes it pretty like an often choice in arena. Like if you look at the top classes like Mage, for example, or Paladin. Paladin isn't the greatest class in constructed, and one of the best ones in arena. And if you ask why, is because the consecrate, I'm not sure right name. It's a common card, so it's pretty easy to draft it. Same for mages. Flame Strike is a common card, so it's pretty easy to draft Flame Strike, which is an incredibly good card. And it's gonna be the same for rogues because the Ambusher is a common card, so it feels like rogues are gonna get it pretty often, and we might see a lot of plays in arena with this card.
Yeah,
especially
I agree.
Especially how much people value Yeti in arena right now, because there are a few choices that are like, I'm gonna pick this card, like Yeti. I don't know, the Harvest Golem, for example.
And
This
Bloodfin
one's great
Raptor.
too. Yeah.
You just have to throw that in there.
Acidic Sand Ustu, for example. This is a card that you always want to have in arena because of the amount of true silvers in paladin decks.
Right. So we've basically taken the Anub'ar ambusher and said, whack. And now we've beaten that dead spider to a pulp. So we have a card of the week, don't we?
Indeed we do. It's the Mad Bomber.
Now, what you guys don't recognize or don't understand is at this current moment in time, Trollden may look like he's all, yeah, but he is actually a mad bomber, and we have proof. And I just realized how that sounds. For those of you who are worried, what I'm actually talking about is he's like the card. That's what I mean. Oh my gosh. Wow. Just wow. Thank you, Hearthstone, for bringing people to my house through the windows in their helicopters. Whoops.
What we need now is like an unavailable signal. Like, sorry, technical difficulties, the chewers.
Wrong IP.
And someone just knocks at my door and kills me.
No! Don't troll me that way. That's bad. That'll make me cry. I will actually get upset.
Oh my god. Wait. Wait. Go away! No!
Wait, I just dawned on me. If this is true, we so should not be laughing.
No, we shouldn't be.
We're totally laughing while one of our poor hosts gets, like, I don't know, abducted. The thing is, why would they listen to me?
No, they wouldn't. I barely listen to you.
No, you don't.
But it's okay, he's back. He's used his ninja CIA skills to fend off his attackers.
I love the fact that he works for the CIA now. Congratulations, Trollden. Welcome to the CIA. I mean, so you work for the CIA, do you? Wow, this show is so going to get us into trouble. This is what happens when we fold space and time and dimensions and bring somebody into the past with us.
Yep, that just happened.
Yep.
Yeah, that really just happened.
That just happened.
What's Trollden?
So, do you want my opinion on the card?
Yeah.
I love the card.
Yeah, I love the card. I'm not sure how often you can use it in constructed. You can try using it in rage deck, some sort of with a warrior, where you can actually get to enrage your own cards with the Mad Bomber. But it usually ends up killing my own Raging Worgen. I think it's a fun card in arena. I often take it in arena because it's good value sometimes. You can kill 1/1 tokens, for example, deal damage to the shaman tokens, shaman totems, and it can be great. It can be a flame imp for 2, I mean. And what do you think about the card, Harsh?
Look, I draft it all the time in limited because I love making my opponent rage at me. I love it when you play Mage. So, Trollden, you're obviously unaware at this point that a lot of the stuff I do in Hearthstone is purely just to take the mick from people. I already understand how Hearthstone works, so I do stuff just for the pure entertainment factor. So I love it when I play just that epic Mad Bomber and just get like well played spammed at me for like 5 minutes. That's always good fun. I get to embrace my chaotic evil side when I pick Mad Bomber, and therefore.
No. You said last week that you were chaotic good.
Sorry, chaotic good. Fine. Like I'll be chaotic neutral this episode. Okay, we can map my progression. Alright, I get to embrace my chaotic side when playing Mad Bomber, so it gets a big thumbs up from me. Suno?
The Mad Bomber has one of 3 reactions from me. Either, cool, I actually got this card, I can play with it, yay. Or, I'm going to build a deck where I have no clue what's going to happen and make it as chaotic as possible. I love decks like that. It's one of the reasons I love playing Warlock. Or the third one, which is,
that usually happens to me.
Well, see, that's the thing. When I play the Mad Bomber in Arena, it never goes in my favor. Never, ever. It's like I'm cursed. When I watch other people play it, it's like they get exactly what they need to totally screw me over, and it is frustrating. But honestly, I love that kind of chaotic play. I like the fact that there is a card, and I like the fact that they have implemented multiple cards, I should say, that have the random effect. So I appreciate it. Sort of like, I'd almost say it's the Baby Drop Bear version of the Knife Juggler.
It is a bit. But no, like, that's the great thing with randomness. I find in Hearthstone, they chuck random onto stuff to make cards more powerful. So, you know, if Mad Bomber was a 3/2 that get to deal 3 damage split however you want, it cost a lot more. So this random gets to, you know, bring the mana cost of stuff down because it can, you know, screw with you as well as your opponent.
I would say that random is bad for tournaments because the random factor can decide whether someone's gonna win or not. But for example, if you pick a card like Mad Bomber, I'm not sure someone has ever taken it in any tournament. But let's say someone took it. If he plays it, he doesn't want to play it on an empty board or on a board where he has more minions than his opponent does. He wants to play it on a board when his opponent has a full board. So the Mad Bomber gets to deal as much damage as possible to the enemy forces.
Yeah.
So, and
as we've discussed before.
Yeah, and this is how random should work in Hearthstone, I think. It's something that when you play, you can try and like gamble. So maybe it's gonna kill it, maybe it's gonna kill it, maybe it's gonna do 1 damage and I can finish it off with a Fire Blast, or you just wait it out and then play to reduce the random effect to its minimum, so you almost surely get value out of it.
One of the things that makes anything random-wise inside Hearthstone not quite so random is the fact that there are ways to mitigate or bend the statistics into your favor. There are ways to fold the odds into your favor. Like you said, if you have this in your deck and someone decides to bring it into actual tournament play, it's almost, this is a relatively random and affordable attempt to board clear, or at least do something. It's like a relatively affordable for the classes that, or for the decks that someone might play that is trying to be overtly aggressive, or something that is trying to just really go for it, which is really the aggro deck. So I don't know why I repeated myself, and it could be because of the time, it could be a whole bunch of other stuff. Simply put, the Mad Bomber is awesome, and from now on, you are known as Hearth Mad Bomber Trollden on this show.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yay! Cheesy smile. But yes, and on that note, it leaves me to say, Trollden, Hearth Mad Bomber Trollden, thank you so much for joining us on at least this version of the Blizzard Forecast. Are you scared yet?
Is this it? I was expecting to continue. I didn't know it's gonna be that fast.
Oh.
Or I enjoyed it that much that the time just
That one.
passed
We'll
by.
go with that one today.
Time just flew by, 'cause math. We'll leave it at that one.
Yeah.
It didn't really take us 4 hours to record this, I promise. And Dr. Marshmallow, as always, Hearts, you evil, evil thing, you.
Yes. Cheerio, pip pip, and all that jazz.
And that leaves me, Pseudo, to say this particular episode is brought to you by, for some strange reason, I'm just going to go with it, a cat on a cactus, the letter pi, the color mauve, and our card of, not this week, but from the developers, the Anub'ar Ambusher. And that leaves me to just say, Toodle Pip, back to you in the studio. Marsh, good luck with you, because I think I've been invaded